Hi everyone, Mature Simmer here. Working on Scenario 6, Winter Trip, on the Frankfurt-Koblenz line. Hello driver, drive this RE2 from Koblenz to Mainz on this wintry day. You are additionally booked to stop at Boppard, Oberwesel, Bacharach, Niederashbach, Bingen, and Ingelheim. Please let the passengers board here before departure. Have fun. It's very nice that my employer wants me to have fun. That's pretty rare these, most days, so not a bad thing. So let's take a look at what the scenario is. Obviously, there's snow involved. So take this RE2 service on a beautiful winter morning, south from Koblenz as far as Mainz. So 8 steps. Obviously, multiple stops. There we go. Timeliness bonus. Alright, so we're going to get moving here. A little bit late on the uptake. But, yeah, got the wipers going at the slower speed. Because no reason to go crazy. So we can get up to 100 before we get up to 140. At least I hope it'll let me do that here in the yard. I think in the past I've gone off that way, or come from that way. I don't know. Maybe I'm just dreaming. But in any event. Alright, got a passing train. Oh wow, I didn't realize it's a freight train. Haven't seen one of those on the line here, so that's new. It's long and it's freight. So, alright, so we've still got nearly 19 kilometers, so definitely a ways to go, but definitely really pretty in the mountains with the snow. This is still new to me, the whole train simulator thing, and how they make things feel with the different seasons and whatever. I've not experienced that a lot. But I will say it's pretty nice. I think they did a good job, because the only other winter scenario I've done before is in Washington, which doesn't have mountains. So I've had snow, but it didn't look anything like this. Even the tracks were different. It was really kind of smoother along the rail bed. There's another freight. Wow. It's 8 o'clock. It's after 8. I mean, in the U.S. at least, usually, you get some freight trains in the morning. It's not like you don't. But, on what in essence is a commuter line, usually by that time of day. And I should preface that, I guess, or caveat that with my experience on passenger rail was when I lived in Chicago, and obviously that is a gigantic city, and passengers get moving. They're a kind of freight, I guess, but they get moving on the trains at 5:30 is kind of when the first commuter service usually starts at the obviously outer end of the line heading toward downtown. And so once again, because they're trying to keep the lines usable for that type of use, most of the freight is scheduled to pass through and be done by then. It's pretty rare to see a freight train on some of the main lines. Now there we've got another passenger high-speed one going along. But definitely pretty nice. So on the menu, if you missed it, this is supposed to be about a 62-minute journey, so it's not short, but it's not the entire line. So I think the last scenario takes us down the whole line again, which I think is like 105 minutes or something, unless I'm remembering some other line entirely, but this one was in the green for easy, So I think as long as I don't do anything stupid, I should get a pretty good score on it, but I have a tendency to just babble on and speed, or like the last scenario I ran, I was like, oh, I gotta slow down. I had read the signal right, except I forgot I needed to slow down to 40 instead of 60, and then still got hammered with quite a bit of speeding penalty. So it didn't help. So it looks like the river, I can't really see out the window that way, it's a shame, but looks like the river is not frozen over. There's a boat on there, the river, so it should make sense. I mean, the water's moving, and we don't know how cold it is. I mean, it can snow right around 32, so it might just be right around freezing. It doesn't mean it's like 20 below or something like that, so you know, but obviously I'm not from Germany in this area, and so I don't really know what the climate normally is in winter and what the temperature really gets to. But obviously rivers are moving, and so they tend to not freeze over that easily, because obviously it's moving water. It's not just like a pond or something else. Not saying those freeze over terribly easily either, but they certainly would freeze before rivers, I believe. Alright, so we're about, I think we're past the halfway point here. Slow down a bit, because we went from 138 to 139, so want to be careful. Again, got to avoid me being my own problem and speeding and getting hit with penalties. But obviously at this speed, at least certainly the hundredths of kilometers tick away pretty quickly. But definitely, whoops, now we are going along. So there we go. I always want to be at least a mile below, because once I hit 141, I assume I'm going to get tagged with speeding. So I don't want to risk the opportunity there, but I think maybe we were headed downhill a bit, so that certainly was then helping. This is a really long turn, as I think about it now. I don't know that I've noticed that before, but I don't know that we don't go like a full 180 degrees around. I'm just wondering. Let's see. Can't really tell. But yeah, oh, I see, we're up here. So yeah, it's a sweeping turn, that's for sure. So, oh boy. While I'm doing that, I completely miss the fact that I need to slow down here. Look at me trying to sightsee and, oh goodness, keep hitting the wrong direction. I'm struggling with which way I press the buttons. Alright, well, either way I should be okay here. So if it slows down at the signal, I'm good. But it doesn't. It slows down there. But either way I can go 110, so let me accelerate some. I don't want to go too slow, because I'm definitely then going to lose some time, and we're still 4 kilometers away, so need to not be looking at my route map that way while I'm driving a train at 140 kilometers an hour, so serves me right. I'm lucky that I only lost 2 points. But in any event, wow. It's not the station. What is that? It might be a station. I guess it's just the way the road is cut. Interesting. Is there a tunnel or something? Why do they go up there and then back down? No, there's nothing here that we can see. I don't know. Obviously the roadway's a little higher up there. It didn't come all the way back down, but still. Intriguing, to say the least. Okay, so 10. So that means it's going to be 10 by the next signal, which is 100. So let me get myself down. So again, it should change at the signal, not at the marker, if I understand things correctly. And I've been a good German signaling student. But even if it doesn't, it's very close. So, yep, at the signal. And then it will speed up, but we're slowing down at the platform because we are stopping here at Boppard or Boppard or however you say it. So again, at about probably now, just to be safe, we'll start at least slowing. Don't need full service because yeah, now we're going a lot slow. All right. So after all that and all that confusion, to only lose 2 points, I'll take it. We've got time ticking away, so I'm gonna let myself coast in here at this speed. But very long platform, so alright. So get ourselves slowed down, put ourselves on full service, get ourselves back down. Alright. So almost a minute early actually, not bad. Part of that, however, though, is clearly the time is measured to, 0.14 kilometers further down the platform. So I also didn't roll as far as they measured. Let's take a look at our timetable here. So 8:28. So yeah, we've got a good long way. But then it's 5 minutes, 3 minutes, 6 minutes. And then a little bit longer, about 8 minutes. And the last one's about 10. So yeah, we've got this next one that's another long leg. But then after that, we're probably, again, out of the countryside, out of the mountains, and closer to the cities, the more populated areas, because there's clearly plenty of people walking on the platform here. So I'm sure the people of Boppard would not be happy. Although I'm sure they'd be okay saying that they're a town or a village. Just want to make sure I'm not rolling in any way. Alright, I'm not. There we go. So, got my full contingent of timeliness bonus, which is always a nice thing. Still don't know why people walk on the other side of the white line. They're supposed to be away from the train for safety. So that way, again, if they stumble a bit or something, they're not suddenly ending up on the tracks. And that's not a good place to be with a train rumbling by. So, alright, over 20 kilometers. So, definitely, as I said, a distance. And I think we do have some slower portions here through the mountains, if I remember. So, I'm sure we'll have to slow down. It doesn't look like we're hitting that anytime right now, because we're actually going to be able to accelerate to 130 eventually, but we're going to have to back off here before we exceed our ability to stay within the allotted rules and the speed. But less than a kilometer, and we'll be able to speed up a bit. But right now we're almost 2 minutes ahead, so as we've learned before on this line, we get there early, they still hold us and make us wait until when we're supposed to leave, so that the folks who are obviously expecting the train to be there until the departure time have that ability to join us at that point. But yeah, we've got Oberwesel is where we are headed, or Oberwesel. Alright, so put it on 20. Looks like that's still increasing. Go to 15. I'm likely assuming that's going to still be increasing, but I'm going to try it. Because, yeah, we are. So now I'll go down to 10. And obviously, if we get to 130, I will then adjust down further. Because, yeah, it's showing 6.0 on the view down below. I don't know if that's a grade. Down, up, if that's a grade at all. I think it is. Alright, so we've got a platform here that we're just going past. Can't really read the name. It's obviously posted there, but see now it's 0.0, so certainly I'm assuming that 6 is some sort of a grade. It's just, I think if it was a climbing grade, we'd definitely be speeding up now, but we're not, so I'm assuming it was heading down. Now I need to pay attention in case there's a signal here, but either way, got to be down to 100 in a little over a kilometer, so getting myself ready for doing that appropriately. There's our warning. Alright, don't want to slow down again too fast, too much. So we've got some distance. So it looks like maybe just going through the town, they have us slow down a bit, maybe for noise, safety, obviously, a little bit. Let's see, if I give myself 4%, will it speed me up, or will it keep me even? So far, we're even, and at this point I think we'll be at 110 before we hit 100 anyway. So I'm going to keep it here. Actually, it might just be this turn, but that does also happen to be the town, so we really don't know. I mean, there's a little bit of town here when we can speed up, but I'm guessing it's more the turn that was the speed requirement. Alright, so that's where they were working on the line before. Again, 15 speeds us up a bit. We certainly can go a little bit quicker. So I will leave it there until we get to 109, and then we'll go down to 10. And then again, hopefully we'll maintain at that point and not actually hit 110, but if we do, we'll adjust accordingly. But obviously, still very much in the mountains. I'm assuming, whoops, now let's be careful because we are down to, or up to 110. So I'm trying to be a good little engineer and pay attention and stop getting my wrist slapped for speeding. But I'm assuming we're still going to have snow once we exit the mountains, but it might change. We'll see. You know, maybe we'll be kind of out of that area where snow is falling, and then we'll be doing something else. Alright, so 10 speeds us up, but 4 slows us down, so can't quite get to a point where I'm moving appropriately and coasting. I should say really maintaining. Obviously coasting is no power at all, but we're still putting some power on here. Looks like, I don't know if he stopped at a station or just stopped. It's another freight train. So they might be waiting and then they might be switching them on another track that we had to clear first or something. Alright, well, we're under 10 kilometers now. I was gonna say, looks like we might be clear in the mountains, but no, as we round that turn, you can clearly see we've still got a little ways to go for certain. I don't remember. Oberwesel isn't something I've stopped at on the shorter scenarios, so, alright. Gotta get down to 90. So, let's do that, so that once again we're not playing with fire because I'm not paying attention. But these brakes are efficient. I do need to remember that. Because yes, at this point we're approaching only being about a minute ahead, so I want to be careful. But now we're only 0.3 kilometers away, so and then we'll, looks like we're going to be at 90 for a while, so this was kind of what I said, is I know at certain points in the mountains we did have to slow down. This is obviously that point, because I don't know that we necessarily go slower than this, but obviously, you know, even compared to 130 or 140, going 90 is a big difference, so. But yeah, we're at the point here, we haven't had any tunnels, so this is certainly a little tighter mountain pass than we're used to, because we didn't have to burrow through the mountain before. Yeah, it's pretty scary when 90 feels like you're going really slow. But it's like, I'm like, it's still over 5 kilometers. Wow, I'm not moving really fast, but obviously I'm moving. I'm still going 90 kilometers an hour, so. Not a slow speed, certainly. So, definitely some tight twists and turns. Another tunnel coming up here. And then we're going to hit a little bit of a point where we can accelerate some. Not too far away. Probably well past the end of the tunnel, but maybe not. Maybe this is a long tunnel. Nope. In fact, there might be another tunnel in between here and there, and there is. Look at that. Good thing is we are still able to keep moving along. No trick signals, nothing to trip us up. Alright, so we get to go to 100 and then eventually 140, but at that 140 point we're really close to our stop, so likely not going to speed up a lot. If we do, it'll certainly be minimal. But still plenty of mountains ahead of us, so yeah, I'm thinking 3 kilometers, we're still going to be in the mountains. Alright, accelerate some, get ourselves closer to 100, because again, now we're coming upon 30 seconds ahead of schedule, so we are sloughing off time here and there. So we definitely want to be careful of that. Also making sure as I get close to 100 that I'm not going downhill or anything. But yeah, so we've basically got 1 kilometer when we hit 140. So don't know that it really makes a whole lot of sense to accelerate at that point. So I think we'll just stick with what we've got. There's that little tower. I remember seeing that on one of our trips before. I'm sure there's a nice story behind that if you're able to stop and talk to the locals. I'm not sure if this is already Oberwesel, because it's only a kilometer to the stop, so it could be. Because a kilometer is really only what, like, I think even less than a half a mile, so. Alright. So we will start. So now we just got 0.4, so we don't have a long way to go. Should be okay. Again, very efficient brakes. This was the platform that had all the growth on it when we were here in the warmer weather, and we were like, what is happening here? Alright, so we're on. We'll stop. There we go. All good. Scarily, that is only our second stop on this journey, because we're almost halfway into, or halfway, half an hour, which is about halfway into our traversal. Next stop, we will be 30 minutes at Bacharach platform. So, again, I'll release, but just make sure we're not drifting, so keeping my fingers on the controls for my brakes, just in case I feel any movement. But I think we're alright. We'll get ready to pull away. There we go. I'm trying to remember, I think there was a station on this line, it might have been this one, where I got some wheel slip. So I'm going to be a bit conservative here. In theory, though, we're 45 seconds behind, but usually when we pass the end of the platform, things change a bit. So there we go. So we're 16 seconds ahead. Now I think we should be able to turn on the acceleration. A little over 6 kilometers until we stop. I'm not sure that we've been at Bacharach before, if that has been a stop or not. I don't know that as I pull up if I'll know. So it's like one of those Tootsie Pop things. The world will never know. Not as fun and tasty, though. It's just a question for a train operator. Nothing good to eat here, sorry. In Germany, you'd think we'd have like some good German chocolate or blintzes or something tasty, but I'm at work. What do you want me to do? So yeah, so far, other than, like I said, paying attention to what's happening, including the fact that it's going to 120 in a bit. So there we go, there's the sign, 1 kilometer. Start the deceleration. I'm going to do it more gradually than I've done before, because yeah, we're going to get there with plenty of time to spare. So I'm going to let this go at this speed. It seems to be maintaining. It's just 118. But yeah, no extra speed before our stop. So we'll just stick here and do the best we can. So we may not even be out of the mountains here with Bacharach, or however you say it. I'm thinking this is the same spelling as Burt Bacharach, who, I think that's how he said his name, was a singer-performer in the U.S. here. Maybe he's German. Maybe he's from here. I don't know. Maybe his family goes back centuries and the town's named after them. do not know. Again, let me not get too focused on babbling on where I miss a stop. Alright, full service. Again, I'd rather realize I'm slowing down and then release than realize I'm going to overshoot the platform and not be able to do anything. So, but we are very close to the time, so just need to be careful. But now I think we do need to get on with the slowing. Even that was too much. I had to back off or full train won't be on the platform. So, we'll see when we stop. But we are good. This may have been the platform where I took the brakes off and then started to move. So, I want to be careful. It's showing 0.0, so in theory we're flat. But yeah, at this point we're not going very far between platforms until, again, the stop that's close to the end. So this will get us to nearly 500. Let me release, but keep my finger on the brake, because it does take a little bit of time. Now we're okay either way, so there we go, 498. We're still behind those 2 points when I hit the emergency brake a couple times in panic. Not really. I mean, I wasn't trying to hit the emergency brake, so it was more in error than it was in panic. Alright, so 130. Very much on time, but we seem to be accelerating a little faster than they planned, so we're gaining a little bit of buffer. Nothing wrong with buffers. Niederashbach, less than 3 kilometers. Can already see it on our little scroll visual down below. And we've got to be slowed down a bit, but that's on the platform. So if we're going 120, when we get to that point, we're going to pass the platform. Let's be honest. Alright, so it's a tiny platform, or it sure looks like it, so I definitely want to be careful here. I'm going to start slowing down about 1 kilometer out for sure. Letting it drift at this point, but alright, now is the time. Is that emergency again? It just gets there so fast. Alright, so I can back off, because once again we're losing a bit of time, but we're definitely coming in and slowing down a lot more than we need to be. Because yeah, now we're almost late. Now we're right on time. But it just does seem like this is a smaller platform, so I want to be careful. Now we're in danger of going off the end here. But as long as we're not fully off the end, I've determined, as long as some part of the train is on the platform, we're in good shape. So 1 second late. I think we'll be forgiven for that, but I don't know. I guess we'll find out when we get our score at the end. At the end of this stop is what I mean, not the full end. Obviously, we'll know before that. So again, let me release. Should be all right. That beeping that I still don't know what it's for, but there it is. All right, did get our full time, 125. Good stuff. I was worried I was getting a penalty for wheel spin because I went beyond 50%. That seems to be the safe number in these trains. And then usually I wait till I'm after 20, speed up a bit till I'm at 30, and then usually I've been successful at then opening up the throttle fully and letting the train go as fast as it can go. So now we're going to Bingen. We know Bingen. I'm pretty sure I don't ever remember Bingen being in the mountains. It's also 10 kilometers away, so it's not as close. Let's be careful, 120. So I don't want to go past that, obviously, or faster than that. Get ourselves down to 15. We might still be accelerating, but perhaps not. Would be nice if we kind of find that sweet spot. No, we are. Let's go down to 10, see if that is a little bit more of a maintenance power setting. Alright, so time-wise, about 20 seconds to the good. There's a boat, but that he's docked up against the shore, I think, so I think it's a barge. Alright, whoops, about 7 kilometers. So 10% did speed us up, so we'll set ourselves to 4. See if we can do something a bit different there. Clouds do seem to be breaking up, and honestly it does seem to be snowing a bit lighter. I don't know if I'm dreaming or hoping. Possibly both, possibly other things. I don't know. Still maintaining about a 16-second positive, but we are slowing down, so let me increase the speed a bit. Still plenty of hills ahead of us, so I don't know. Maybe I've just never noticed that Bingen is in the mountains. Certainly gone there before, so I feel a little bit foolish that I don't remember. Not that far, under 5 kilometers, which is between 2 and 3 miles, I think. Oh, I think I've done this before, where then suddenly it's going to 130, I don't notice it, and then I'm going too fast, or not fast enough, and losing a bit of time. But I'm going to coast so that we get below 120. Because now we're just 1.5 kilometers away from that, so once again pressing it when we are currently ahead. It just seems to be the wrong thing to be doing, although obviously if I lose the time I don't have enough to really gain it back, so I need to be careful. Because yeah, now we're only 10 seconds. Obviously once we hit the 120 mark, if we're this close, we should be good, but we may lose another second before we get there. I hope not. No, we did. Alright, still green and green here. The yellow's for the other portion of the pole. Alright, then we'll have to go down to 100, and then we will have to obviously stop. So but I'll keep moving along because we're not that far from 100. Alright, that should get us there. Does, and then we obviously will need to stop. So let's do a little bit of that deceleration now. Go underneath this building or whatever it is. Alright, and again, this is a pretty long platform, so I think we're okay, not panicking at hitting it at 60 kilometers an hour, because you can see we're still a quarter kilometer away from the end here, so I'm even going to have to back off a bit. Alright, so I'm going to do this, get stopped, because I can do that. We're going to be a couple seconds behind, but that's alright. In theory, just about one, so not bad, not bad. And then we've got to be 90 when we leave the platform. So, and then I think we've got a couple more stops after that. Alright, off we go. And again, until we hit the end of the platform, the timing is challenging to be relied upon, so we shouldn't be a minute behind, all told, once we get there. Alright, so there you go. We're slightly ahead, but we've got a long way to go to Ingelheim. Almost 13 kilometers, so we're going to have some ability to open up the throttle and get moving. But yeah, we're clear of the mountains, I would say, at this point. That's what I would call it. I don't see any in front of us. Not doing anything crazy. Should be able to maintain this throttle setting. I don't think we're going to drift to 91 before we hit the 160. And then obviously once we hit the 160, we are going. So here we go. And then that should hopefully keep our time at bay. It looks like it is. I think we actually gained a second back. So all good things. But doing well so far, but I'm sure a scenario that's set to be easy, I'm going to need to get 850 or 900 even to get the achievement that goes with it. So my target is 998 at this point, but don't know that I'm quite going to get there. We'll see. I'm going to try. It's not going to be for lack of trying. Alright, getting close to speed. So we're going to back off shortly. There we go. Get ourselves down to 40, which tends to be where we maintain. Just make sure that we're not creeping up too quickly if we still are. Certainly don't want to be dropping, but we'll go to 45. Keep an eye on the signal here. Everything is clear. Alright, we did speed up to 158, so I'll back off to 40. Now we lost some time, or some speed, so that seems to be between 40 and 45. If I could get somewhere in between that, which I can't, then that would be kind of the maintenance speed, but so, and obviously, yeah, now we're out of the mountains, have a bit more visibility and so forth, so it's kind of letting us cruise at that 160, which is the first time we've gotten to that speed. Again, we want to keep an eye out for any special signaling that may be different than just the line speeds we're seeing below. So yeah, a little bit of hills up front, but we can't really call those mountains anymore. So this signal is clear. Slowing down to 150 before we know it. But again, that's just going to be 6 kilometers, so we can wait on that a bit. Just need to make sure, obviously, I know which direction I'm applying the brakes on. This might be that turn that they take us down to 150 on. It looks like it is. So we'll go around the turn, and then we'll speed up again, and then it'll be time to stop. Alright, so we merge with a couple other tracks coming in. Shortly, so 3.5 kilometers to go, but enough distance that I'm certainly going to move, because there's not a reason not to. You know, once we're like within 1.5 kilometers, you know, it might not make sense at that point to speed up, but at this point I would say it would be a good thing to continue moving along. But yeah, no decrease in speed necessary other than what we need to stop at the platform, so. So put on the full service. Again, we're going to eat up this distance pretty quick at the speed we're going, but we are also going to slow down pretty quick. So, again, we want to obviously run the train appropriately, but not panic with slowing down too much, because I think we are at the point where, yep, the ETA is creeping up a bit, so going slower than they would expect at this point. So 0.5 kilometer out. Again, we should still be more than adequately able to slow down. Surprisingly, I might want to release it again. But we've got time, so. Alright, so 0.8, 0.7. Obviously we don't want to drift past the end, but we should be okay here. There we go. Terrific. Very, very nicely done, but we're a minute early, so we may be here. The departure is at 9:05 at some point, so maybe we won't be here too long. So that yellow caution signal is not for us, that's for the other track. Our pleasant alarm of some sort, but just verifying. Yep. So we've just got the next one, which is 9:16, so 11 minutes, so we'll be going for a bit, which is going to give us obviously opportunities for mistakes. So I want to try to stay appropriately focused so that doesn't happen. There we go. Alright, 873. Very nice. Very happy with sitting at that position. Again, we're running still about 30 seconds early, so that's also nice. At this point, should be able to fully accelerate. We're obviously already at 150, even though we're passing some 150 marker. The question is, will we be in danger of passing 150 before we pass the 160 in less than half a kilometer? So just need to keep an eye on that. Looking less and less like a problem of any kind. We might not even hit 120 by then. So should be all right. Should be able to just keep things going, and it'll be really close to 120, but nope, it changed just before. I think we were at 119. But we can go well past 120. But yeah, obviously we had 17, 18 kilometers. I didn't actually look how far it was to Mainz when we took off. I just saw the time. I didn't look at the distance. But obviously we're just passing through 16, so, and we've been going for a bit at a pretty high rate of speed. Ourselves at 40, 35, because we did go to 157. Alright, first train we've passed in quite some time. I think that's what we look like. Yep, that is what we look like. Let's see, give a little cleaner view so you can kind of see what's happening there. Feeling comfortable enough that nothing's going to creep up on me in the interim. I hope I'm not going to be proven wrong once again. But yeah, this appears to be doing pretty well for maintaining our speed. I was worried we were just 5 seconds ahead, but we're actually a minute and 5 seconds ahead. We're actually still gaining some time and adding a bigger cushion. So that again means we don't have to push things too much. So I'll try to be a bit extra conservative, because it would be a shame to get penalized for something at this point. It's been a smooth, clean run. Beautiful winter morning, as they said. Exactly what we'd love to have. Just a non-eventful run into Mainz. Alright, getting down to 10 kilometers to go. But yeah, it's definitely snowing a lot less than it was at the beginning. So there is a bit of a change coming out of the mountains. Yeah, which is sometimes typical. You get out of the higher elevations and not quite as cold. Things aren't getting pushed up in the air by the mountains to, you know, make them go into even colder airspace and then freeze faster and come down as snow. So alright, there's a couple signals real close together there. So I was gonna say, no, I thought it was maybe one side of the train platform and then the other, but at best it's even past the end of the platform. So don't know why they're so close together. Maybe there's a switch here somewhere. There is, so okay, that makes sense then. Alright, I just don't know if we go all the way into Mainz without a line speed change. Always a dangerous assumption to make. So those single greens are always a bit challenging. But yeah, we've been maintaining nicely at 157. Okay, there's 100 coming up, so do need to pay attention. Especially, again, we might have a signal here that says by that next signal that we need to be down. No, we're fully green, so we should be okay. But want to begin the deceleration because we are going 60 kilometers down, so it's not a trivial speed change by any means. Right. Again, I'm going to be conservative because I've got plenty of time, so... Oh, and I'm glad I did, because it dropped us to 100 there, so... I don't know that I saw the indicator that would have done that normally, so... Alright, we're green there. Fully green there, so again, they shouldn't slow us down, but I'm going to be careful and maybe be super conservative and get myself below 80 before I hit that signal at half a kilometer at this point. So I do remember this kind of going under where the other train track overlaps, and I'm sure that's maybe in case stuff falls off or whatever, which obviously not something that you're assuming is ever going to happen, but doesn't mean that it won't. Okay, nothing in the triangle. We're still able to go 100, but again, we've got a good buffer, so... And at this point, we're, you know, a mile and a... or a kilometer and a bit away, so no reason to press things too much. Just stick here, and then obviously pay attention because we might have things that ask us to slow down. But no other signals before the station, so hopefully that means we're all clear. It's just a matter of stopping. So, pretty good at that. Of course, as soon as I say that, I'm going to suddenly not be, but just jinx myself. But we'll see. It's almost like we're on the wrong thing, like the platform didn't start when it started. If you know what I mean. Like, we weren't hitting the green till almost like the other platform. It's like, are we on the right track? But we're supposed to be on platform 4, and that's what it's telling us over there, so I think we're okay. Alright. So that'll get us there. And now we're not going to release the brake. We're not going to do anything to jeopardize a wonderful ending. But it's supposed to be till 9:17, so there may be a little bit of cooling our jets here. But sometimes these scenarios just, you know, they make you wait a minute and then give you the success message at the end. But we'll see what happens. But glad to have made it. If it wasn't for, again, those couple extra incorrect direction key taps, turning on the emergency brake a couple times, losing a point each time. It wouldn't be too bad. There we go. Good work. You've just enough time for a warming drink until your next duty of the day. So we got 998, so there we go. We needed 850 to get that. There's a couple emergency brakes within 10 minutes of taking off, but other than that, just a bunch of nice timeliness bonuses. So quite happy with this. I know we've gotten a gold star on that, and I will see you next time.